Good Saturday morning, Link to the Past Randomizer fans. My name's Karaoke. And I am here commentating for this. I think we're in the final days of these bracket qualifier matches, not qualifier, bracket matches. 128, first set. This is between Magno and latebit, and we're doing Key Sanity this time. Co-commentator Dr. Bob Tastic has not arrived yet. We'll see if he drops in later or might be joined by somebody else, but for now, you got me. I hope that's okay. But this final day getting a ton of awesome restreams with all these final matches and lots of decisions being made here. And we are off. Runner starting in two separate places, with latebit getting a heart container. Very nice early on in the game here, and Magno's getting some bombs, which are also nice when you're starting over in the Sanctuary, because you can just pop right down over to Kakariko, you don't have to worry about getting bombs somewhere else. On our first big key of the seed is going to be the Misery Mire big key, so I might not be seeing use of that for a long while. Who knows when we get in. I just noticed that both players are using the same Yoshi sprite. That's cute. And without bombs, you can't really continue down in the South Shore checks here, so latebit saving and quitting, going up to Sanctuary and following behind Magno's footsteps here. And getting our first dense check here onto just here in the Thieves' Hideout. Oh, more bombs is more useful than Rico. Oh, an early blue Yoshi here, gonna be useful with all those hearts. I got all those hearts. We got 5 already early on in the seed, and then plus this blue tunic, getting very defensively buffed early on. I was just waiting for anything else cool in this well here, because we got both the book and the glove early on. Kakariko very much living up to its name of Stackariko here. Also being able to stop by to the bottle vendor and get the Ice Palace big key. Another kind of later game, possibly key. Might not be seeing use of that also for a while. Alright, let's see if boots are going to be hard required this time around. Ooh! That's a spicy jawbreaker! Sitting on the library shelf today, we have our Moon Pearl. So hopefully, sooner rather than later, we find our boots. Yeah, definitely a hard requirement. That thing, that Moon Pearl, I wouldn't want to, crunch into that thing. I think I'd break a tooth on it. I didn't see that Magno done the blind check of that race game item. Going through and just seeing that there's 10 arrows there. I'm not going to be bothering with those. We can find arrows wherever we want to. Magno gonna go continue the early round of checks here by heading over to the escape area. Pick up a few things here. What's Uncle holding in his pocket for us today? Just some lunch money. Here, Link, why don't you go get a nice sub sandwich from Taquerico? Well, I've already been there and found a stack of everything else, but thanks, Uncle. Maybe when we go back there for Flute, we'll pick up that lunch along the way. Latebit making the play over to Sashrala's house. Gonna get some information on probably where our green pendant is, and also gonna pick up the items in the back of his closet. Alright, Skullwood's green pendant. Skullwoods is still a lot of easy checks. We're probably gonna see our runners dip at least in the front of it. Oh, shovel and cane. Hiding in the closet. Taking an old man's cane, Latebit, what are you thinking? That's rude. He might need that to go outside. And yeah, at least it's one weapon. It's not the best weapon, especially because Latebit does not have any magic right now and can't really effectively do anything other than that cane. You can't just bonk your enemies on the head with this thing. It doesn't work that way. Dropping into the back of the escape area here, pushing that gravestone open to get 3 more chests. Nothing much. Gonna save and quit and continue onward. Probably heading south, the rest of South Shore at this point. Now that we got a healthy stock of bombs and at least some weapon to take care of the mold worms, we'll see if they use the Samaria or if they decide to use the bombs instead. Oh no, we are making the walk around all the way down here. Oh, Magno got a sword too. Okay, I missed that in the escape. I'm kind of cross-eyed looking at both of our runners here. Apologies if I miss anything. That is why we have a tracker to keep me honest and make sure I don't miss anything. Latebit making the play over to Desert right now with that book and a pop in the front there. Also, maybe see if our boots are super hard required at this point.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, we're joined by a James FNX. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Apparently we have a little emergency fill-in here, so.
Yeah, just a little emergency fill-in. No worries. It's all sorted out. Dates are confusing sometimes when they happen. So to catch you up on this very defensive seed, I mean, look how many hearts we have. Not even 10 minutes in, and a blue mail. We found a couple of later game big keys. Misery Mire, Ice Palace. We know that the green pendant is over in Skull Woods. Magno found a sword somewhere that I blinked and missed. We got an early book, early red cane from the back of Sarashvalis out there for that cane, and Moon Pearl is on the library ledge, so we are very, very hopefully trying to find our boots real soon here. And
Too far out, then.
there was something else important, and I forget now, but I'm sure we'll see it soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Pearl on library is probably a good sign for both our runners. They'll get those boots super early. A Gina check for like that. I don't know if Magno did this or not, but this is one that I think the runners have very mixed feelings on. Maybe less so in Key Sanity because there's just less to do, not having access to everything in dungeons.
Yeah, latebit made the early western side play here. Didn't even finish checking South Shore as far as I'm aware. Just did the swamp check and then dipped out of there early on because I had no bombs at that time.
Yeah, makes sense. So this is going to be our first look at Mini Moldorm Cave then? This will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that latebit's probably waiting for possibly waiting for a better weapon to take on the Moldorms here, because it can be very annoying with bombs. There hasn't been that many magic drops anywhere to take them out with the Cane of Samaria. So, trying to hope for that, hook shot or sword or something to be a little bit easier, bow even.
There's
There's the boots.
So yeah, boots in the very first spear check, so get that Moon Pearl shortly. And Latebit will get some magic here out of the Uncle Drop. That's probably the most important thing you're going to find here. That might be enough to push him over to Mini Moldorm Cave at this point.
It must feel so satisfying to be able to go to these far out checks such as Ice Rod Cave with the boots, just run up there. Takes so much less time.
Oh yeah, Latebit did that Agena check walking over there, Magno, so we were able to run to that location. Just the single arrow at Ice Rod Cave though, but still can't feel too bad. It's gonna set up a water walk. No Moon Pearl, so I'm guessing the man under the bridge is going to be feeling a little left out here. Going to take that water walk, certainly the waterfall ferry for 2 checks, or the bridge check for 1. And there is that sword in first chest of front of escapes. That one's in logic, and these other 2 checks in the back are not in logic. And speaking of not in logic, just a map for Thieves Town. A little information.
Yeah, nothing super breaking. You start finding the good stuff in these out of logic checks, and you start going, okay, what's the logic expecting out of me at this point?
Right. No lamp yet. No. We do have a glove, so you're looking for a second glove or a hammer somewhere for that Dark World access, since we know where that Moon Pearl's at. Magno taking a look at the ledge item in Zora, and keeps his water walk. This is persistent. It's going to take a long time to get to this bridge check any other way, so.
I mean, well, as long as you have it, might as well use it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just $20 under the bridge, though. And Magno going to save and quit and get that Moon Pearl now. Although right now there really isn't much of a hurry to go grab it, because it doesn't do anything.
Right, you might want to take some of these other checks that are definitely open to you, just knowing in the back of your head, I need to head back to Kakariko. South of Kakariko, eventually get that Moon Pearl, might as well check some other stuff, see if I can get a flute along the way, make that stop as well, or, one of the other actual Dark World entrance things, so you can just wrap that all into one. Grab your Moon Pearl as your last quote-unquote requirement to get into Dark World after you get to other stuff.
Yeah, and then just run up to the portal of Village Outcasts, or second quit and head to Hype Cave, whichever, based on what you find for your Dark World access. Late bit about to get these boots too, so not too much of a difference here. Gotta feel kind of bad getting 15-minute boots when they're available from the start of the game, but not too terribly bad.
Yeah, maybe because late bit did go this way partially, but didn't find any bombs right away in the first couple of checks in the south area. So it was like you could have gotten them under 5 minutes in if you maybe like if the swamp gate had had those bomb packs or something. But on the other side, it's still under a lot of other times that I have seen recent races getting boots or not getting boots at all. So honestly, I call 15-minute boots a very vast improvement for a lot of the seeds I've seen this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. And on Magno's side, we saw that the bush crab is giving out 20 rupee drops. Could be important with Zora and Logic, and not a lot of other things left to do in the world. Late-bit going to take these boots and also set up Water Walk. We'll get the same level of disappointment out of the checks that Magno got, given some of that time back. Between having that glove to lift up those bush crabs to east of desert, and also being able to hit that 50 rupee cave, and then it'll be pretty quick to get to Zora money if that ends up being Magno's next option. Late bit not going to continue on the I got Water Rock busted, so
yeah, I got hit by one of the Zoras there.
Yeah, not going to miss out on the $20. Are going to miss out on the $20 under the bridge right now, but isn't going to miss it. And that's one of those checks that is so hard to get to. I mean, it's going to be in the back of his head, but not something that you can really plan to see in the future quickly. Another heart container for Magno on the Torch here in Desert. You were right, 16 minutes in, 9 hearts already for Magno, 8 for 8-bit.
The seed is extremely defensive, and I think, all our runners are very good and can easily do, 3-heart Mothula with Fire Rod or something like that. But I think just having maybe, the little peace of mind of going, I don't have to worry about running into stuff once I do get my Dark World access and instantly dying. It can be a little bit more risky and therefore a little bit quicker in what I'm doing.
That is true, but it's also kind of a double-edged sword. We don't have a mirror yet for these runners, so I'm sure both of them are, especially in Key Sanity, where you're going to be double-dipping dungeons a fair amount. As we see 50 rupees in Fallen Rocks, that's not our answer to open up the Dark World here. But with this much health in Blue Mail, a lot of our runners like to set up Death Warps in, say, Palace Darkness or other locations, and it's going to be a lot longer to do that with this much health.
True, yeah. It's on one hand, it's good for your survivability. On the other hand, when you want to start doing your multi-checks, it can definitely be annoying. And Magno passing that 500 rupee mark with that bush crab.
And 80 rupees on the tree pole as well. So rupees everywhere. Fun reminder, Logic Zorlok does not take into account how many rupees you actually have access to, so this is just a lucky benefit for our runners that they're not going to have to, say, loop in the 50 rupee chest in Desert 4 or 5 times to get to that number.
Aghanim, not hard required unless you want yet another heart container. I don't know, do you think our runners want another heart container?
No. Not that desperately, that's for sure. Have seen a lot of Aghanim required seeds in this Key Sanity mode, just because those Castle Tower keys always being in the tower. But not going to be required for that item. Could still be required just for general Dark World access. We still don't have a second glove or a hammer yet, but more likely to find that than the other sword or cape and lamp.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this could be one of those most cursed Dark World access instances where we have to beat Aghanim to get something required on the pyramid or something like that. Unless you do some fancy footwork and jump over the river or something like that if you get in otherwise. Who knows?
Yeah. Magno heading up the mountain for these 2 checks out of logic. Latebit hitting an Eastern Palace for 3 checks in logic and a 4th. And nothing on the mountain. Latebit getting the Skullwoods big key. We'll be able to check that in his first trip to Skullwoods. So that's a nice thing to find. Not required, obviously, but way better than finding it at an hour 30 in. And half magic for Latebit as well. So Eastern Palace, a lot of nice stuff to have, but nothing required as of yet. You're done with logical checks in Eastern Palace. We're gonna get one more here. Dark Room is not intimidating at all. But I don't think the answer is here, so I think that leaves Zora.
I'd say heading back up that way is probably the last bet we got.
Yeah, so Zora's got to have something. Whether it be a lamp to get this chest into logic, or your second glove or hammer, which seems to be the most likely thing at Zora. Could also be a hook shot. Oh no, the hook shot doesn't do anything because the mountain's still not in logic. And this last check in Eastern is just a piece of heart. So Zora's going to have a hammer, a mitt, a second glove, or something that leads to it. Latebit recognizing that, it's going to head directly there. Well, no, actually, Latebit is going to check the... Latebit already did Agina. What's going on over here? Oh, it hasn't checked Desert yet, so it's going to hop into Desert, find nothing, and then head over to Zora. So we should see these 2 runners convene at Zora just about the same time.
Yeah, at this rate, probably just, Magno finishing up at the rest of Eastern here, Latebit doing those front-end desert checks.
And Latebit, while you're here, going to grab this heart. It's the same heart, up to 10 hearts. Both are runners. Bonk rocks for Latebit now, looks like. Oh no, this is going to sequence break the mountain for these 2 checks. So Magno's going to be have a little bit of advantage getting over to Zora and getting whatever is on Zora today. Except that Magno also has a shovel that he found in
I guess it's closer. If you want to go dig that up, it's less of a walk than all the way back over to Zora. Oh well.
Magno now is going to get the Moon Pearl.
Yeah,
this makes sense. We're running out of checks. Now you want to get your Moon Pearl. You're in the area. And then Yeah, it's gotta be Zora time. So, does whoever loses this race have to give up the Yoshi sprite?
Let's ask in the interview and see if this was like a winner takes Yoshi sprite agreement between our runners. I like it. It's cute.
Very nice fake flipper from Magno. I'll save a bunch of time getting over to the Zora area. Meanwhile, latebit's going to do a more traditional one over here. Magno's not done is getting walk state from Waterfall Fair, and then we'll run over to Zora. Latebit just going to swim it out and get over there. So Magno going to be first to Zora. So what do you think? Hammer or mitts? Or the mystery prize, which I think would have to be a bottle at this point. Or a mushroom. It's mitts.
It's mitts. I was leaning towards like mystery prize to be like a the bottle like you were saying, but mystery prize, that's close enough, right?
Mystery prize.
Mystery prize, perfect.
I know taking these mitts, immediately going to King's Tomb, getting this check out of the way. Latebit, though, is going to head directly to the Dark World. GT Small, not that important. Well, actually, more important in this mode than it is in normal Key Sanity, because that GT Big Key is buried in Ganon's Tower somewhere. And that's second one. So that's all Magno's going to need to find that Big Key.
I guess another thing with how many hearts have been front-loaded in the seed server, we haven't found a lot of keys yet, which is kind of important in a key sanity seed. You want to find your minimum amounts of keys required for all your dungeons sooner rather than later, and hope that you're not scrounging to make your progression a tiny key somewhere.
Yeah. Latebit choosing to go to Village Outcast. Magno, this is what I like. I like going to Skullwoods. We know it's a pendant. You have that big key. You're gonna be able to clear out the front sections, get 6 checks out of here very quickly. I kind of like this better than going directly to Village Outcasts. You're probably gonna need the fire rod at some point, but you're not hoping to find it immediately because you don't want to do Skullwoods right now.
There was our flute in the bomb hut in Village of Outcasts. So, right location, wrong world for making a quick turn on that flute.
That will give Latebit access to the Mire area once we either find a mirror or do a saving quit, though. So, more locations to check. Magno timing that key grab really well. Gets picked up by the Wallmaster and brought back to the start, so then have to walk back. Second try gets the bomb jump, and a lamp under that Skullwoods big key.
Well, of course there'd be a lamp in Skullwoods. Moths like lamps. He's just, storing it so he can take it out every so often and stare at it lovingly.
I fully believe that lore. Absolutely. Master Sword is way cooler, though. That's a big upgrade for Magno.
And Latebit doing a Death Warp there, just like you were saying, it took a little bit longer than probably would like to get enough hits. Quake. Okay, we got 2 medallions out of 3. Now just watch as Ether's going to be the required medallion for both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's kind of the paradox of two medallions. You've got two-thirds of the medallion set up, but you're actually not even half likely to be able to cover both dungeons with those. Uh, Latebit grabbing the frog and taking on a big tour of the southwest of the Dark World, all the way up to Hype Cave at least, maybe even to the pyramid. Bumper ledge, nothing. And Magno's gonna make his way into the Village Outcasts.
Ooh,
Flipper
Ice
very, very
Palace, Swamp.
required today.
Yeah. Ice Palace, Swamp Palace going to be the 5-6 crystals. I don't know. I kind of prefer when Swamp is required, just because there's typically stuff in there that we need to find, and having to go through the entire thing feels a little bit better when you do have to go beat the boss at the end for, you know, required. Ooh, mirror.
That's a mirror. That's a very good, nice find for late bit. Those two dungeons in particular being crystals is pretty good too, because you need one Swamp Small, which is often the key Sanity Bane, but no big keys are needed. You don't technically need any keys at all for Ice Palace. If you can navigate your way through with some icebreaker or bomb jumps or things like that. So two dungeons where you need exactly one key to do them all. Now I have to run this Smith back up, see what he brings to the table. Really awkward now doing that King's Tomb check right there, isolating Graveyard Ledge a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit something, especially now because you got that mirror, so that's probably gonna be happening soon. And once a late bit pops back in the Dark World, possibly, but we'll see when he heads back around that north area again. And even playing a little song for our blacksmith friend as we free our duck from the wind
Weather
statue, the thing in the middle of the town where the duck was trapped.
My favorite part of that is you can see the Smith just still jamming out and dancing in the background as Link, or whatever sprite you had for Link, just sits there and waits patiently.
Yeah, blacksmith, he's just so impatient to get back to hammering his whatever item he's gonna give you.
Maybe he can give us a hammer today. That'd be really nice. How about some bombs? There's a Crystal Eastern Palace, and it looked like a Crystal Hera as well.
Yeah, that was a Crystal Hera as well, indeed.
And that Quake Medallion that is in Skull Woods is required for Misery Mire, but we don't know yet if Misery Mire itself is required. And there is the hammer sitting in Mire Shed.
So you're just like, you know, one check off. That's we'll call that a win.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to evade Magno for too long here. Late Bit skipped digging game because they didn't have the money for it. And Magno dug up the Tempered Sword. So Magno now with a 2-sword advantage over Late Bit for the time being.
Oh, Magno's gonna have that nice thing in the credits where it's like, you know, how many bosses defeated with sword is all going to be tempered or higher.
Yeah, I think if you're one of two minds with that. You're either looking for as many as you can with no swords, or tempered or higher, just based on how the seed treats you. A lot going on in that hype cave besides that mirror too. We got Powder, Eastern Big Key, Terra Small, which isn't logic and not going to be that thrilling of a check for runners, but they do have the Big Key as well, so they'll be able to just full clear that dungeon if they so choose.
Finally, the cave living up to its name bestowed upon it back in the dark days of Rando, when it always had everything.
Yep. I don't think latebit did this check either, this Bombos tablet.
Nope, because latebit's just got... I don't think latebit bothered to read the tablets, because why read them when you can just wait till you get a better sword that you're gonna need to find anyway and just do them.
Yeah, and the third GT small. So Magno's GT has gone from doable, but some potentially slow to quite comfortable at this point.
I like comfy.
Latebit is going to read this tablet and see that's just a heart piece. Into Hera we go.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You can... This tablet's just a little easier to read, because it's
Yeah.
right there without having to mirror over to it, and latebit... I'm trying to think of... Yeah, because Mir was in Hype Cave, so it really wasn't a timely check to actually walk over back there to where the Bombos tablet is, just to read it.
Yeah,
That totally makes sense that
yeah,
it wasn't
Latebit
done.
chose to immediately double back and or head back to Light World and turn in the Smith, whereas Magno is doing these mirror checks and is gonna walk the Smith back. Uh, both ideas fully defensible. Latebit in the Thief Town Big Key out of Hera map chest and is not going to continue on there. Probably hoping for a hook shot on this side of the mountain before coming back.
Oh, like fraction of a second too early to smash into that jellyfish and got buzzed. I think this is the first spiral cave I've seen in a hot minute where the runners could do it with the boots.
It's been very, very elusive and a lot of seeds in this tournament for whatever reason.
Is Hyrule having production supply chain issues on leather and whatever goes into a foot sole, and just can't make those boots till very late in the game? Something like that?
Possibly. Desert Small off of our sick little kid friend. So that's a full clearable Desert Palace now. At least for Magno, Latebit still needs to grab that lamp out of Skull Woods, along with the sword and Quake in there.
Oh, is that 2 shields? 2 shields in the same cave. Okay.
All the hype was in Hype Cave. Paradox not delivering the goods here.
Unless you want to go sledding or shield surfing.
Imagine if you could do that in this game.
It just shield, like, how you have a shield, you have either like maybe the the red shield or the gold shield, and there's an option you can just jump on the mountain and have a little animation of Link sword, shielding down the mountain to make it easier to get down. I don't know, that'd be cute.
Would be. Magic Bat disappointing us yet again. Flute in a mirror makes a lot of sense to just abandon your portal, get that magic bat check out of the way. Check out this purple chest. Find that it's just a compass. And Magno is on his way to the hammer. Magno also has Quake and a Samaria and a lamp, and could just hop in and choose to clear out Misery Mire.
Man, could just do that. Oh, speaking of shields, there's our third one. Okay.
Our shield shipments have all been stuck at Death Mountain.
Something like that. They just haven't made their way down the mountain yet. I guess those the dead rocks decided not to carry stuff down for us today.
Latebit is going to open this up. It looks like if we're doing this, then Turok has got to be Bombos. Absolutely. With Samari, we'll be able to get in. No small keys, so can just do the first check.
So I had the opposite of what I said, where the dungeons were the 2 medallions we had instead of the one we never found yet. Huh.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sometimes it happens that way. I like this from Latebit. This is a pendant. You're not going to want to finish this dungeon. This first check is pretty fast, honestly. Even though you're having to ride these Samaria platforms, it's a pretty quick check. So I do like getting this one check out of the way. It would be nice to if you had Fire Rod, get the other 2 here, but just some bombs, unfortunately. Latebit can walk this out and head over to Spike Cave. And then maybe saving Quit and finish Hera. I don't know. Latebit's got a lot of options right now. Magno head to the back of desert. It's going to have a fairly easy time. No way to accelerate this fight, unfortunately, other than Tempered Sword. Does use a bomb to try and get an extra hit in, but... That is that Philando. That's flippers. Those are required. And that is a crystal. So 41 minutes in, just 42 minutes in, Magno getting crystal number 1 on the board, picking up another piece of the puzzle with those flippers. And yeah, it's gonna head over to Misery Mire. Might as well.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. We got the. Oh yeah, I gotta go pick up the key in Checkerboard Cave first, and then maybe head into Mire.
Oh, Latebit. I don't know if there's a potion in that bottle, but it has 3 keys. Can do a fair bit here in Palace of Darkness. Seeing that Hera, and that's a hook shot in the first chest of Palace of Darkness right there. That's another piece of the puzzle. We have 1 pendant left between Palace of Darkness and Misery Mire. There's still no way you just don't clear this dungeon out while you're here, though.
Got red Yoshi, too. Now I can tell the runners apart because one is red and one is blue for a while. You know, forgetting that their
briefly at
names at the
least.
top. Yeah. Just you start looking at their names at the top and being like smart person. Just see like, oh, the red one's over there. It's latebit. And there's our Big.
Oh, that's my bad. I thought we had big already. That's why.
No, I saw a big team. It wasn't Tower of Hera. I saw a Okay.
Oh, okay. Our tracker letting us know that was the Hera big, and our runners had the desert big earlier. So
Yeah. Oh, that's perfectly fine. No worries. It's
shout
hard to. There's so many keys. It's hard to keep track of which one's which.
Yeah,
Speaking of keys.
shout out to Jinxie Girl. Tracking these key sanity seeds by yourself for 2 runners is no joke. It's a way harder game than playing this, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, there's just that many more items to keep track of. So props to all our trackers. Because some of these modes can get a lot of stuff for you to keep track of. Huh. Yeah, finding the pod big key in pod itself is right, and also like kind of right next to that big chest there, make it very nice to just pop over and grab it.
Yeah.
Try to pop over and grab it. The bomb angle there was not being kind.
No, gonna have to head back in the room and try it again. So latebit kind of hoping now to find a bow or in Dark Maze or something to make this a one-stop shopping trip here in pod. Give a big welcome in to everyone coming in from SpeedGaming 4. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. Playing Tournament Key Sanity between Magno on the left and latebit on the right. The stakes, what's at stake here? Magno wins, they're in the brackets free and clear. If latebit wins, force a tiebreaker between these 2 runners for next week at some point to determine who will be the 2nd seed out of Group N. Nice real clip from Magno.
That is the first time I've seen that in a long while.
Magno's really showing off a lot of good minor glitch knowledge in this race so far. The Samaria fake flipper earlier to get over to Zora. That rail clip here. And latebit getting this big key to Hera is going to head up and finish up Hera now. Especially with the hook shot. Randomizer not having a lot so far, just that bottle, I believe. Magno getting a couple fairies, getting back up to full health, which is pretty important because he's going to want to hook... Oh, I already grabbed this chest. So some runners like to just... Oh, it doesn't have the hook shot, so that makes sense. The hook shot was in Palace of Darkness. Trying for a cane dash there, doesn't quite get it. Has to do it the old-fashioned way, just walking up there. 11 hearts red mail shouldn't be too much of a problem, or 11 hearts blue mail shouldn't be too much of a problem for Magno here in this 5th race fight. Very very close to NMG, just a little better armor.
Latebit still on 1 sword, going for the hammer strats on Moldorm here. Now Moldorm, come back. Come back. No, come back. No, come back. Moldorm, come back. Here we go. He knew it was the last hit and did not want to cooperate there.
Let's take care of it. Gets that crystal, gets his bombs. Magno is gonna have to be a little careful here. Getting brushed by the eye is gonna give him a death, but doing a nice game of tennis here, serve and volley. The small key to Turtle Rock. I'm starting to speculate on what we still need. Yeah, we still got a Swamp Small and a bow. And I think that's it. With Skull Woods and Turtle Rock both being pendants, that Fire Rod is not necessarily needed. The GT Big Key may be on the right-hand side. I don't know how comfortable Magno is with doing bomb jumps on the torch room on the right-hand side of GT.
Alright, nice palace with bombos. I didn't see anything cool in Hookshot Cave, did you?
No, not really.
Okay.
We did find the Misery Metals are crystal, so that means a pod is our last pendant. Another Turtle Rock small key, so Magno could get pretty deep if a dive independent Turtle Rock is ever in the cards. The late bit with his big key to Thieves Town is going to hop in and head to the back. I wonder if this will get late bit over to Skull Woods after this check. And there's our Hyrule Small that didn't lock anything.
Definitely the seed's gotten to that point where there's a heck of a lot open to do. Little things, and then also I think Magno went on the, you know, what can I complete route versus, you know, just dipping into things where the stuff that he's been finding has been leading him to. And it's a hard, not a hard decision, but it's like there's no super wrong decisions when it's this open, I believe.
Yeah, and both runners have chosen very different routes and have given them different tools to extend those routes. Late bit with that hook shot on the Thieves Town Big, Magno finding the flippers, finding the lamp, and finding some other keys that give him a different route. So it's been very interesting to see how these two routes have diverged, and it's going to be a matter of when each runner gets back in the other's footsteps at this point, because we do know that both of those early entry locations, House of Darkness and Skull Woods, have items that our runners are going to need from either side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you can tell from the tracker, that there's definitely places that each runner's been where the other hasn't yet, and you know, I'm pretty soon they're going to start, you know, overlapping each other in those as they try to find. They all try to figure out where this bow is.
Yeah, where this bow is, where the Swamp Small Key is, and maybe for sanity's sake, maybe a Fire Rod. Although I'm sure our runners aren't going to be thrilled to see a Fire Rod given this pen configuration. It's always a nice thing to have, peace of mind.
Yeah, and just like also using the Fire Rod in Ganon's Tower is a lot nicer if you have to go on the right side of it.
Absolutely.
And late bit reading the script theater practice here doing the blind fight as Magno drops into Cold Stare, is going to crack that ice open with one shot and with the Bombos medallion. And probably going to have a decently easy time considering with the Tempered Sword here. Just knock him in the corner and smack him.
I found Cape in here too, so even if things get a little out of control, can give himself some safety with that Cape. latebit finishing off Blind, Magno finishing off Cold Stare, crystals for everyone.
You get a crystal, and you get a crystal, and everyone gets a crystal, including you, chat. Everyone in chat gets one crystal.
The Thief grabbing 4 bombs from latebit, but not a crystal, thankfully.
Oh yeah, the thieves, no crystals for you.
Can you imagine if someone hacked this game and let thieves steal dungeon prizes?
Now, I was thinking, that made me think of, like, Pottery Lottery, but not only is, like, everything can be under pots, but also, like, dungeon rewards can be under pots. So you lift up a pot in, like, Kakariko, and there's, like, the Thieves' Town Crystal or something.
Yeah. Magno is going to do some Dark Death Mountain checks. Doesn't have that Hera big yet. Doesn't have the hook shot. Won't be able to complete Hera. latebit finally making his way into Skull Woods. Picks up Tempered Sword. Or Master Sword. We'll pick up Lamp here in just a moment. And also got that Quake Medallion. So finally getting over here. Runners are kind of doubling back in their footsteps. Well, we got a moment to make sure that you, when we get done here, take some time out and give these runners a follow for the show they're putting on. Both these runners are playing for tournament standing and tournament lives and put on a great show for us. latebit gonna do one thing Magno's not done here and clip into a wall. I mean, check the pedestal here in just a moment. That mirror's kind of tricky if you haven't destroyed the back of Skull Woods.
Okay. Just couch cash.
Makes a lot of sense. We haven't found a lot of things that lead runners to pendants. We do have all 3 Skullwood Smalls somehow, though. But not enough keys for Turtle Rock, not enough keys for Pod. latebit finding that Misery Mire starter pack of a Fire Source and the Medallion to gain it. Gonna head directly here and clear out this dungeon. Really starting wondering where this bow is, because I imagine that Magno is putting off a trip over to Palace of Darkness until he gets that bow. Like very, very consciously making a decision to not go there until he has that bow and can clear out both those dungeons, both Pod and Eastern Palace. But we've seen a lot of the world, but we've not seen a bow yet.
It's almost starting to smell like it's locked behind something else at this point. Like either the Swamp Small Key is somewhere and the bow's in Swamp, or it's on Moth and Fire Rod somewhere, etc., etc. All those lovely things where you're like, what's the path that it's trying to do to us at this point?
Yeah, we're one Turtle Rock key away from putting Laser Bridge into Logic, I believe, and that's It's another interesting place where our stuff could be hiding. That is far too common in this game.
Right?
Magno could get to Laser Bridge if so choose with 2 keys. First, though, we're going to clear out Tarahera. We're not going to clear out Tarahera. We're going to do 3 checks in here. These first 2, and Magno does have a fire source, so can choose to do the basement if he wants. But no hook shot, no big key. Won't be able to get up and kill Moldorm. Magno is interested in the basement, so this will be something new.
Alright, so as Magno relaxes here on the bricks, give everybody a reminder to get up and stretch, rest your eyes a bit, take a drink of water, relax as the tiles fly. I say get a drink of water, and here I am ignoring my glass of water and drinking some Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew instead. But whatever drink you prefer. I know it's still morning in some places, so maybe y'all have some coffee. Are you drinking anything right now, James FNX?
I just finished off a Coke Zero for answering the call. So right now I got nothing in front of me, but speaking of nothing, there's nothing in here at basement. Just 20 rupees. And this is going to be the Turtle Rock play for Magno. I kind of like this. If your goal is to find a bow before heading to Eastern Pod area, then you'll be able to get the laser bridge here. Chat is not thrilled with your choice of beverage.
I just yelled into chat that it's real good. I am quite enjoying the Flamin' Hot Dew. Except that some of it splashed in my eye earlier, and my eye's a little bit tingly, so maybe be careful when drinking it. Don't let it splash.
Is it like cinnamon, or...?
No, it's like kind of like chili powder. It's like lime-flavored dew, and then there's chili powder kick in the back. And it's really invigorating, and I like it.
Interesting. Very interesting. A late bit in here with a safety item, this Cane of Burna is going to make this a leggy but very safe fight. Also only has Master Sword compared to Magno's Tempered. Did not get that sword off a digging game, and I can't imagine when Late Bit's ever going to actually get back to digging games. That's got to be a little bit concerning if you're a fan of tiebreakers in Late Bit. That sword advantage is probably not going to get made up unless there's a sword in the Climb to Ganon's Tower or on Armos or Helmasaur.
Having to squish the eye with the hammer makes it a little bit more risky as he kind of bounces around the room, and you tend to want to be using your hammer to the left or the right because the hitbox is a little bit more obvious that way. The up-down one is a little weird.
Yeah, more pickleball than the tennis that Magno was playing earlier. That was a rod of some sort in Chain Chomp Chest. I didn't quite see which one it was.
That was a nice rod.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe if this was a crystal dungeon and you had fire rod and you needed to definitely clear this place and you were kind of go through, you'd be really happy to see that. But right now it's kind of like, I don't know about this.
Magno sees in like, my Lambo 2 fight's a little easier now. Magno did not want to hit that door. That is not good. Magno can't get the laser bridge now. But that is a key to a pendant pod, so that doesn't matter. Magno did not want to hit that door.
No.
And Magno, and he's done too much to save scum that key.
And I guess
Oh,
he
okay.
fills one key.
Well, he has three. He had 3 turtle rocket small keys. Okay, that's fine then. Yeah, you just don't want to spend the key for try next. So I did not realize we got a third turtle rocket at some point.
Yeah, it's not like we can do Trinex anyway, so he wasn't going to be heading there. Okay, we're
Yeah,
fine.
not till we find the fire rod here.
Right? Yeah, fire rod, big chest, turtle rock, right?
Late bit having a slowish fight with Lando here. You can tell the time difference between that fight and Magno's fight earlier with Tempered Sword. Late bit picking up those flippers.
No, I was wrong. Dang it.
Late bit taking those slippers off to Ice Palace. It's kind of following in the footsteps that Magno did earlier. Magno still has not doubled back on what Late bit did in Palace of Darkness to get that hook shot. Or the Hera Big Key.
Yeah, just really, really wanting that bow before doing that.
Yeah, Hookshot and Hera Big were both in Pod, I believe. I know Hookshot was for sure. It's in the first chest.
Yeah, Hera Big is also in there. I think it's like right before the dark room somewhere.
Alright, 4 chances for glory. That's a compass. I love the dedication. You've got the mirror shield and you're still doing laser skips.
Ah.
That is a terrible, terrible laser bridge.
Compass bridge, more like it. Really circle bridge, because we had bombs which are circular, and compasses which are circular, and a medallion which is circular.
Yep, and I can't imagine where Magno goes other than Pod from here. But fool me once. I guess it's that full Thieves Town or half of Thieves Town to clear still.
Finish
Oh.
off, ABC or ABCD always be crystal dungeoning. You can finish off Thieves Town while you just kind of turn the autopilot on, do your Thieves Town while you think about where you're going after that.
Yeah, 4 more chances for Magno to find the bow. We know I'm not going to find it here, but also progressing the game, doing what you need to do, and giving yourself time to think about things while you're in a dungeon that doesn't typically require a lot of concentration. There are a couple dangerous rooms. Hellways can get out of control, but Magno's got tons of safeties, so. Wave swap adding lots of fun strategies in the game, giving runners a lot more incentive to use a cape or a cane burna in that Hellway room. So where do you think what do you think our next progression is going to be? What do we have left? We have a couple chests in Pod that are not quite in logic. We have first chest of swamp. Can't think of much else that we haven't done between our two runners.
No, we're getting real dry. And it's all places you want to avoid because you don't have the thing to do the rest of the dungeon in. So I mean, you know, the swamp small could be hilarious if that was in the first chest of swamp and it's just been there this entire time.
Yeah, the way things worked out with where the flippers were at was very hard to do a cheeky little check of that first chest when you're looping around, especially with where the mirror was too, being in Hype Cave. Hard to get all of that stuff done in the right order to check that chest out.
And it could be, you know, it could be something very rude, you know, say like, you know, fire rod in the first chest of swamp, which leads you to have to beat Mothula for the bow, which leads you to have to go finish Eastern Palace then to get your swamp small. I don't know.
I think you've been reading too much SpeedGaming chat. I don't know.
I mean, I do follow every SpeedGaming channel within the family from Prime all the way down to 8. I think we've been airing matches on 1 through 6 so far. And also all the ALTTP Randomizer channels as well. I've been watching a lot of this tournament.
Yeah, there's been so much random over the last 3 weeks. We just had this reversed a few minutes ago, and Christopher Magno, Christopher latebit, swapping places, and now where'd you go? Hammer pegs. Chat asking about the sword difference. Magno has a sword from Digging Game that latebit didn't have cash for. And latebit finally getting under the bridge. Had his water walk deleted by Zora. Gets those 20 rupees. This is going to be Hera Basement and Spike Cave, or Spike Cave. Or is this a further Turok? This would be a further Turok for latebit. Just all terrible checks for latebit side. Just nothing you ever really want to do. Spend a minute going to Hera Basement, or spend a minute going to Spike Cave, or spend 3+ minutes dipping into Turok. This is another new location Magno's heading to. I don't think anyone's done Catfish yet.
No, I think we've been talking about the graveyard ledge check when he checked something where we're like, oh, we might orphans graveyard ledge that way, but just got it now. Gonna head over to Catfish, and maybe Catfish is gonna cough up our bow or fire rod.
Yeah, I wonder. Runners got mitts. Both of them decided to check King's Tomb before finding. Oh, both runners also had the mirror at that point. So finally getting that graveyard ledge check looped in. Catfish is another one of these kind of terrible checks that's super isolated and may have something here. Makes a lot of sense for Magno's side because Pod is the next big density location for him. Just some cash. So latebit gets that ice rod. Magno going to take a look at the pyramid. That's a small key.
That's a small key. Is it the small key?
No.
No. Get your womp womps in chat.
Alright, if you're Magno here, you just gotta be super aggressive about getting as much done as you can with one key left over, taking a death warp, and then checking some extra locations in here. Sword difference has really been showing off in some of these fights and rooms. The Cold Stare fight was much longer for late bit. Having some problem with the double pokey room in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the enemies getting this in these later dungeons like that, they're really hoping you had a little bit more power, and it's just more awkward to use the hammer as well to get that. Magno probably really happy to see that hook shot, just to, you know, have it for later, but going, where's the thing to actually progress?
Yeah, the hookshot only gives him 3 more checks in Hookshot Cave. It's gonna check.
Oh, that's a long way, too, because he's already done all of Turtle Rock that is, you know, doable. That's a trek back up the mountain.
Magno aggressively using a key here to check a big key chest. Just to get that red mail. Magno has this red potion, gonna crack it, and then gonna stay as far to the right as he can to keep this camera from walking back in. And just like that, all the mimics are gone.
I
Well, at
don't
least
see
the
any
game
mimics.
thinks so. At least the game thinks so.
I didn't see any mimics. Do you see any mimics?
Not anymore.
Yeah, I didn't see them after they walked off to the left. They just were gone completely.
I know we're gonna spritz the wall.
You're just priming it so it explodes bigger.
The Magno, because of being that aggressive with the big key chest, is not going to be able to check Harmless Hellway, which does require 6 keys in logic. We'll get that Hera big, so does have more reason to head back up the mountain. We know none of those checks are really where it's at. Latebit gonna do hammer pegs. Yeah, it's really coming down to who wants to check Swamp first at this point. Latebit grabbing purple chest, turning a magic bat, leaving the dark world, so the dig game sword still staying away from Latebit. Not gonna have a lot to do after turning this purple chest though.
Yeah, I might just, you know, do that because it's an overworld check, and now that he's got the money, it's there. It seems better than dipping, you know, first chest Swamp Palace.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get back to the portal with a hammer, but you can't do dig game until you get rid of this chest. The dig game vendor does not like having any followers uh, tag along. It's a solitary activity. Digging is a solitary activity.
Yeah, one time I was with my friend and I tried digging something up and he just gasped and turned away and wouldn't look.
Latebit does go back to the portal though, so this might be dig game. This will be tempered sword. If so, yeah, here we go. So Latebit will get on tempered sword finally, but did lose a fair bit of time with a sword disadvantage for the better part of a half hour.
Alright, Magno did make that climb up the mountain again just to do Hookshot Cave. Get the bloomerang and the few other, you know, items around there.
There's that extra key to Turtle Rock. Magno also has Hera to finish while he's up here, so...
Oh yeah, probably gonna go finish that off. Clear it while you're thinking of where to go next, just like before.
At this point, I'm not sure what Latebit has other than Swamp to look at. K45, nothing's ever been there. Don't worry about that. We already saw this from Magno's side, it's just a map. A Bombos tablet also along the way, but then Latebit will be at Swamp and has no reason not to check the first chest.
I really think you kind of have to at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, pyramid check first, because Latebit hasn't been up there yet. And Latebit hasn't done catfish either, right?
Latebit has not done catfish either, so
Okay,
might
so all
walk
of
this
that.
all the way up. If Latebit chooses to do catfish, he's going to see the small key, get really excited, and then be very sad. But if Latebit chooses to walk it up to catfish, both our runners are probably going to get to Swamp at about the same time. And we could have another pod small there. We could have our Swamp small. We could have a bow. We could have a fire rod. How fun would it be to have a fire rod there?
Yeah, fire rod's the spiciest option.
Magno's got a spike cave to do too, so... Chat pointing out that Eastern Palace Big is also a thing that could be containing our piece of progression. It's not a place either our runners want to go back to at all without finding that bow first.
No, not at all.
Alright, Magno is doing the swamp dip. Latebit is doing the Eastern Palace, or doing another check in pod. Has an extra pod key. You'll be able to get to Harmless Hellway. And then I can't imagine not doing Eastern Big while you're here.
All right, we got our toss up going here. Which side is it going to be that finds progression in these, you know, last little one-off places deep in these dungeons?
Yeah, a lot of runners like to say Rando gonna Rando. This is the scenario where Rando is gonna Rando. There's two terrible locations, each with one check. one of them, at least one of them, has progression. They could both have progression. It's Swamp Small and Swamp.
Bomb in the chest. Big mad.
Vanilla Swamp Small. Yeah, you something to see it. Latebit has not done these checks. These bow lock checks and pods, so also has these two checks along with Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, I think when he got into pod, he did have a bottle, but that bottle did not have a potion in it, and they found the second bottle that had the red potion there.
Yeah. Nine items, ignoring the Swamp Small key. 9 items here in Swamp. Lots of chances to find one or both of those bows. But no guarantee.
Yeah, we always find Fire Rod instead.
Could, in fact, always find Fire Rod instead. It's also the Pyramid Fairy. So another 2 items attached is bottle number 3 on the way for Magno, with a little buzz inside.
Speaking of buzz, there's a bug net, and Magno skipping left side.
You're just hunting for a bow at this point. This makes total sense.
Yeah.
And Latebit is going to do that Eastern Palace big chest check. Makes total sense from his side as well. Or it could be a mushroom.
Mushroom, there's a fetch quest. Get some bow soup from the witch.
Latebit hoping for vanilla bow right here. Finds small key that is not the one he needs.
All right, come on, do your swamp dip now.
Yeah, it's a fluke before. This is gonna be swamp.
Yeah, there's the switch to hammer.
Ice Rod helping out in this fight too, so nice. Nice. 2 Ice Rod shots and a spin for the 1 cycle phase 2 Magno with crystal number 5, and
that's a bow.
That is a bow. So 1 hour 27 minutes. Magno is 1 GT big key away from go mode. We know approximately where that's going to be. So.
Yeah, Magno just gonna run right over to Eastern Palace. Not run, fly. Fly right over to Eastern Palace and quickly clear that out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Latebit finding another GT small on Bombo's tablet that we knew about earlier. That's 3 straight small keys that Latebit's found in terrible locations that have not been the Swamp Small. You just gotta feel worse and worse every time you find one of those small keys, and it's just not what you want. So if you're Latebit right now, you're hoping for a GT big key on the right-hand side in that compass room, and for Magno to have some problems with that bomb jump.
Yeah, that's about it at this point. Alright, let's see what Latebit's reaction to Vanilla Swamp Small is going to be. Nope, just probably shaking of the head and moving on as fast as possible. Not gonna waste time by dropping a bomb on the chest.
Reserved disgust.
That's a very good and succinct way to put it.
Magno heading through the back of the Eastern Palace. Going to be up to Armos Knights very soon. A couple of rooms away. We'll see if latebit chooses to do left side swamp or not. Can't imagine just looking for the bow at this point it's going to do that, but you never know. Both Ice Palace Walls sitting in Eastern. One in the big chest, one on the boss, and that is crystal number 7 for Magno. We're off to Ganon's Tower. We're off to find a big key, and we're off to express ourselves through numbers in chat.
What's your favorite number? Mine's 18.
I like 14, at least for this expression.
What's your favorite number that isn't a chest number? I still like 18.
18 is a good one. I think 28 is a fun number. Also a big fan of I, but that's just in my imagination. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah, I stopped thinking about numbers that can't be written down, like, beep, years ago when I was in high school. That was a censored noise there. Latebit probably happy to have, Tempered Sword for, especially Argus here. It's a lot easier to crunch the popcorn with the 3rd or 4th level sword than having to grab and spin with the Master Sword or use hammer.
Yeah, and you need tempered at least for a 0-cycle latebit and go for that. That's a really top strategy to use, especially with just tempered sword. But gets that bow, gets crystal number 6, and latebit will be back to Eastern Palace shortly.
Honestly, that at this point that was probably the best location for the bow, because it was a required crystal boss. You had to clear him anyway. Getting your final progression at that point just probably feels good instead of getting something else that's going to lead you on a some sort of hunt there. Like Latebit didn't pick the mushroom up apparently, so that was another option of where it could have possibly been. Argus could have had the fire rod, and it could have been behind a fire rod check. Lot of nasty options that were still left open at this point that the runners I don't think would have appreciated.
Yeah.
And but very nice that the bow was on the boss itself.
Yeah, I think latebit did get the mushroom. There was 2 checks left in swamp for them according to the compass. So, but yeah, I think you could be a little more aggressive in skipping checks on the way to the boss if you know you're going to go back in if you don't find it, because clearly you're going to go back in if you don't find the bow. Where else are you going to go? Other than Pyramid Fairy, but yeah, having the bow along the way is way better than having to like slide back the left side swamp or get a fire rod, for goodness sake.
I think we're on 7 chests so far if we're going the usual way for...
Yep. Yeah, 4 in Stalfos, 2 in Hope, Torch, this will be number... we're 8, this will be number 9. Torch was not picked up.
Yeah, see, we were just saying how bad I am at math, and it continues to this day.
There's silver, so that 1 bow is all we're going to find.
Well, at least it's a really easy Ganon fight when we get there. But yeah,
Absolutely.
that one bow on Argus was the only bow that we could find before coming in here. Had to do it.
Yeah. 13 checks in, still no big key. Gonna take a quick little trip to everyone's favorite anti-fairy.
I said we're going to take a quick little trip to everyone's favorite anti-fairy. I saw a lot of appreciation in chat for the Final Fantasy VIII MSU that Magno's been using.
Yeah.
Very, very good soundtrack there. Have you ever played Final Fantasy VIII?
I have not. I have some friends that absolutely love that game. It was a game that really didn't draw to me as much as 7 did when I was a kid when it came out.
Yeah, I think most people are like that. If you played 7 first, you like 7 more. If you played 8 first, you like 8, and then everyone likes 9. Or at least they tend to. 8 was fun. Yeah. I did a playthrough of 8 with a friend. We grinded all the way to level 99 without knowing that buffs the final boss, so that was kind of fun.
Whoops-a-doodle. So we've gone through 17 checks here. We've not found a big key. We've got one more location that is not fire rod locked. And Magno's going to head directly for it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to head to the top room and clear this room out. So that is our door that we're coming in at. Because don't want anything in our way.
Yeah, also clearing out this room here as we let's do some tricks. Ready?
Lining up for a bomb jump. Gets over here. Gonna light a torch, fall down, hopefully not get grabbed. Does manage to avoid the wall master.
And now we run.
As fast as our little Yoshi legs can take us. And there you go.
Oh,
got through just in time.
Door closed on Yoshi's tail. That had to hurt. Gibdo is bullying, just not letting him toss that Samaria block over to the switch.
Yeah, let's have Ganon give Gibdo the raise. There's our big key to Ganon's tower. So Fire Rod somewhere in the world. Who knows where? Logically required, but Magno on his way up the tower.
Yeah, at this point, where could it have been? It could have been on Helmasaur?
Helmasaur, Left Side Swamp, Mushroom,
Pyramid
Fairy. There's a fair number of places.
Fair number of just late checks that, you know, if the bow hadn't have been on Argus, they probably would have gotten that Fire Rod, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know if latebit has that bomb jump in them either. Gonna give it a try, that's for sure. And I kind of like this from latebit, doing this early. Like this is the one thing that could give him a pushback in this race if he feels very behind, is if it is on the right side. But
or not, deciding to give hope to left side instead, either to find the fire rod on the left side or get the key on the left side. Just saw some smoke coming out of the brain there.
Or just doesn't have the bomb jump in his arsenal and realized doesn't have the fire rod and is kind of stuck at this point. But if you have that bomb jump in your tools, if that's something you can do with regularity and you feel fairly well behind in a seed like this, I fully agree with doing it early. As that's the sort of thing that if it is over there, which it is today, and your opponent can't do it, then you kind of break back in the seed quite a bit. But there's also the feeling that every runner always feels that they're behind. Unless you're like Zelgadison in a cross-key seat or something.
I always kind of give, I mean, depending on the mode, it's usually within that 120 to 145 period where you start feeling like you're, I think it's like a universal thing around that time period, we start feeling, I'm behind. Where's that dot done?
Yeah. Magno living the lamp life. Remember that it just has the lamp and has to do this a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's good knowledge of additional strats here. Knowing that you can, you know, the lamp can reach over one tile, that you have to go get the bottom ones first, and how to do all of these lantern rooms with the lamp. It's just something that you can forget because you very rarely have to do that.
Yeah, and Magno doing a good job of remembering he only has one key, killing the Helmosaur, getting that second key. Quick spin to win on Molorm 2, and one terrible room and 2 bosses away.
So, geometry, triangles, pi. Wait,
Yeah,
pi is
almost.
circles, not triangles.
Well, pi is angles. Pi is totally relevant in geometry, triangles. But Magno solving the puzzle. 4 cycle, and on to Ganon. Giving us a look at Tile Room. This is something that Magno did not check out. Is this a fire rod? No, it's not a fire rod. So latebit is gonna have to grind this room. Whether he's got it in his arsenal or not, it's gonna give it a go. Doesn't quite remember that you have to. Yeah, you need to go out this top door. Give yourself a chance. Magno with half magic, silver arrows, can be super aggressive with this cape. Already into phase 3. Oh! Had the right distance, just the velocity put him into the torch.
Going for that early shot and went the wrong direction, but also now having to dodge a little bit and wait for some bats to fly by.
Yeah, getting a double there. Tried to get a triple, did not quite get the third shot off in time, but that is that. Get those GGs in chat. Magno, with this win, going to 4-2 in the group, and going on to brackets, guaranteed. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of Late Bit's turn, but get those GGs in chat for Magno, finishing things up.
And that was an official racetime.gg time of 1:40. Where is it? 1:43:28.
GG's to Magno. Well done, well executed. Lot of high-end execution in the seed for Magno, along with good routing. And moving on to brackets.
And latebit was able to do that bomb jump. A little different setup there. And got the big key and is now heading up the tower. Heading into the gauntlet, gonna be pretty easy.
And we are joined right now by our winner today, Magno. GG's.
Hi, thank you. That was something.
Yeah, it was quite the search at the end for that big key. But very, very wide open seed for both you and latebit. I don't think either of you really converged until it kind of choked into the swamp small key.
I just didn't want it to be there, the swamp small key. But I thought there was maybe a bow there, and that would send me back to pod or so. Or more pod small keys, or I don't know. But I think this seed had many of those kind of converging item placements where you had to last locate it basically. Or did latebit had enough money for the mids?
Yeah, you both you were first to the mids. Both you and latebit kind of did a fake flipper up into Zora and didn't have enough money at that time for it. But you ended up getting over there first, and you were also first to the swamp small key. But yeah, in between those 2 points, so in between the mids on Zora and that swamp small key, like you two were in very different places at very different times. Like you were doing desert into Ice Palace as latebit was doing Thieves Town, and then you guys flip-flopped like 20 minutes later, and latebit was doing desert into Ice Palace as you were finishing up Thieves Town. And it was really just one of the seeds where one piece of the puzzle was in one location, one piece of the puzzle was in another location, and you both grabbed one side of it and did everything you could.
I was ready for weird ping pong dungeon items, but that's why I went to Desert Palace early with just the book and boots, basically. I mean, those mids were my last location. I had nothing more left, and then I went Skywoods because I had the Skywoods big key early, and yeah, it's key sanity, so there are 6 items I can grab.
And you knew it was a green pen at that point too, right? So like
yes.
you just never you don't care about the back at that point. So as latebit has run out of keys, didn't kill the Helmosaur. That's a problem. Just walk back. It's 2 rooms. You can walk back.
Or did he forget about it?
He might have forgotten that Helmosaur has a key. I don't know. But I think our forfeit has come in from latebit. Checked the room, and it's decided enough is enough here today. But yeah, really well executed from your side. You showed off a lot of NMG tricks, including the torch room in the end and the right side of GT. But really well executed, really well run.
Thank you. That's basically cross keys experience for me, because yeah, I like to sequence break stuff, and I like to play cross keys a lot. So that's when I end up doing this bomb jump a few times. I was confident that I can pull it off in GT in a tournament match as well. This is not so easy, but
You made it look easy. You did it very smoothly, very quickly.
yeah, when I saw the back of the door when I went through, so I forgot about the last lamp for a second, and then oof, damn it! And yeah, that's when I had when I lost a few frames and almost didn't make it. Yeah, but GG's to latebit as well. I think he said in the race room that he forgot about that he went to GT with 3 small keys and he ran out of small keys. That's when the forfeit came in.
Yeah, I'm looking at the race room right now. That he had the 3 smalls. So you remember to grab one off of Helmasaur in the room just before Moldorm, and I think latebit just forgot that one. Give us a little bonk exhibition here.
Yeah, when I saw the big key, I always look up and see if I have a small key left, because I did it once when I climbed without a small key and didn't get bailed out, so this is always in the back of my mind.
Yeah, well, one of those things that you do once and never do again.
Right. But well, this is key sanity. I mean, I could have grabbed the small key from the pod after the portal, the warp. Yeah.
Hello to latebit joining us here. GG.
GG.
Well, that's one way to take yourself out of the tournament. GG's.
But did the mini Hammersaur not have a small key for you if you just go up 2 rooms?
Yeah, but you were already done, so why
Yeah.
waste everybody's time? Just take the L.
Yeah, it's understandable. At this point, you know, you just have the bits left that you know how to do, and the parts of the seed that screwed you over had already happened already with that. So yeah, that vanilla swamp small. How about that?
Gross.
I mean, at first I felt really bad because I wanted to check it. I wanted to go there earlier, but I didn't because I had so much pot left for me, and I did all of Turtle Rock for nothing. But I can imagine if you get this the swamp small key early, you would still full clear pot in order to find a bow, because there are 2. And yeah, and if you go there really early before pot even, then you wouldn't have the hookshot, and you would have a decision to make if you go to left side swamp without hookshot, or just bail after small key.
Yeah, and decent chance you find the fire rod there, because no one found the fire rod today, and that could take you in so many different directions in the seed.
Yeah, it could send you to Skullwoods, Green Pendant turn in. I think Pyramid Fairy was left as well.
Yeah.
The Mushroom turn in. But yeah, I think it's basically everything that's left.
And latebit, I'm gonna give you a shout out here too. I was noticing in the race room after the race that's the first time you've done the bomb jump in GT.
Yeah, never bothered to even like practice it. So this was it, just doing it live, and failed it a couple of times, but well, I'll be more comfortable with it going forward. So that's nice.
Yeah, well done.
It was either that or go out and try to find the fire rod. So no thanks.
At that point, no, because it was like, could have been tile room, which would have been whatever, but there's also deep into pod and the boss, or what other options were there, James? I forget.
So Pyramid Fairy, Mushroom, Left Side
Mhm.
Swamp, Helmasaur. I think that's it.
I didn't open Harmless Hellway, so
Yeah, Harmless Hellway. latebit, I think you went back and did that, or did you just do the bow lock stuff?
No, I opened it. It was nothing.
Yeah, you were fairly close to each other at the end, hunting for that swamp small key. But latebit, you still had those 3 checks in pod plus Eastern Big to choose from, whereas Magno, once you finished your stuff on the mountain, you just kind of just had swamp left.
Yeah, I chose poorly. I just did not believe in the vanilla swamp small, and well, it came back to bite me.
That is Randomizer in a nutshell. Sometimes.
All right, so we do have another race coming up here very soon. So any quick last thoughts before we wrap up here?
Just a big thanks for everyone involved for the 3 streams. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, thanks for everyone in chat watching. Our tracker Jinxie Girl, thank you for tracking. Key sanity is hard, I know it myself. You can miss a lot, and it's not an easy task. Thank you for that.
Yep, thanks everybody. I guess I'll try again next year. GG's.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Magno you in the rest of the tournament in late bit, or if you end up on your own stream or in next year's tournament or any other tournaments that happen throughout the year. So as stated, right up here on this channel, we have Jon Snoo versus Zero Rush starting very soon. So stick around for more rando, and of course check out all the other speed gaming channels. Lots of more races happening for the rest of today, and our final weekend of the 128 section of the brackets, and ALTTP Randomizer as well. And thank you all for watching. Thank you, James, for jumping in last minute.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
All right, and happy randoing. We'll see you all around.